Everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third talk on NITRUS Talks. NITRUS stands for NIT Raipur US Talks, although we invite everybody from all over the world who have ever been to our college. Studied there. And we have had a couple of talks. We have some more talks lined up. So today we have Gajendra Pandey, who has agreed to give a talk on nutrition. And Gajendra did mechanical engineering from our college in 2000. Then he went on to do PhD from Stony Brook University in nanomechanics. But he also has a passion for good health and maintaining our own. The best gift God has given us, our body. So take care of that. So he has done a lot of research. He has got certifications. So he will be talking about this. I request everyone to mute your microphones until the end. And Archit is here with us from 2016 biomedical branch. He will be collecting questions on the chat sessions, and he will coordinate the question answer session. And thanks, Gajendra, for putting the disclaimer thing. This talk is completely voluntary and given by Gajendra, but it doesn't mean any professional advice. Anybody wants to follow this, we would definitely recommend doing your own research, talking to a diet specialist, and also everybody's condition is different. So this is a general talk. So Gajendra, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Yeah, as Rahul sir said, this is a completely voluntary talk, and please feel free to absorb it. And before implementing anything, if you have any physical condition, please consult your physician before making any changes to your diet and exercise. So that is being said, so I have put in here fundamentals. So let me start by saying that fitness is science and it's not magic. And I'm saying that because I used to take it as magic. So whatever somebody is doing, something worked for someone, say for my neighbor, if they had recently lost weight, so I would just go ask whatever they have done, and then I would exactly try to follow it. But that never worked for me. The reason for that is everybody's body, diet, and lifestyle is completely different. So something that worked for someone may not work for us as well. But that is being said, as I was saying, fitness is science. So there has to be a formula, and formula is right there. So it's pretty simple formula. If you want to lose weight, you have to take less calorie than what your total daily energy requirement is. And if you want to gain weight, then vice versa, you need to take more energy than what your body total daily energy requirement is. So we will learn down throughout this presentation that what this term total daily energy expenditure is and how do we calculate that, right? But the calorie that we are talking about is coming from all the food that we eat, right? So how body basically metabolizes the food that we eat and extract energy from it. And it's constantly extracting and spending energy. So basically, even if we are not doing any physical activity, our body is constantly using energy just to get all the organs going. For example, breathing and pumping the blood and etc. Right. So that is being said, the energy that it extracts, mainly the sources that it comes from are carbohydrate, fat, and protein. So these are the three main ingredients that provide the energy. So whatever food that we eat, body extract fatty acid, directly extract fatty acid, glucose, and amino acid. And it can extract, or it extracts fatty acid from fats, glucose from all the different type of carbohydrates, and amino acids from protein. So, and that is what I have listed here, from where our body extracts what. And once it extracts that energy, then it stores in various forms. First one is fat. So fat got stored, or the fatty acid got stored in fat cells, right? It is also called adipose tissue. One adipose tissue can store as much as 40 times of its size of that much of fat. But if more fats need to be stored, then our body can easily create more adipose tissues. right? But one thing is fat is the essential nutrients for our body, that which means our body, if we don't provide enough fat to our body, then it is not going to survive. Okay. But I'm saying that because fat, when we go on a fat loss journey, then fat becomes an enemy, which actually it is not. Second form of energy storage is glucose. Glucose, when if our body can use glucose, it's good. If it cannot, then it converts into glycogen, which is a longer chain of glucose, and it stores into muscle fiber and liver, right? And if that glycogen is not going to get utilized, then body converts it into fat and stores it in a fuel reserve. So fat for our body is a fuel reserve, right? Not an enemy. So I talked about glucose, right? So glucose is the simplest form of sugar or simplest form of carb. So monosaccharides, which is single unit of sugar, and disaccharide, which is double unit of sugar. If we eat anything that has this simple sugar, then our body right away it absorbs it. And all the cell in our body requires sugar to function, right? But it cannot accept sugar as is. So what happens that as soon as our body absorbs sugar, pancreas, which is one of the organ, it releases insulin, which is a hormone, right? So insulin body accepts sugar through insulin. Okay. And if over the period of time, if we are not utilizing that energy, then eventually our cell becomes resistant to this insulin. And what happens that all those glucose get accumulated in our bloodstream. And that's when we get diabetes. Okay. So that's about glucose. And third one is protein and amino acids. So which is the building block of our body, right? It get used in our muscle fiber repair and making of new muscle fiber cells and DNAs. And in fact, you can think amino acid or protein as something that is needed in almost all of the reactions inside our body. Okay. We talked about energy that we use our body basically to perform anything. We need energy, and that energy is actually we get stored in the form called adenosine triphosphate (ATP). You don't need to remember all these things. I'm just familiarizing you with all these terms. In short, we call it ATP. How our body extracts energy from this molecule is basically this. There you see there is a 3-phosphate bond. So it breaks one phosphate bond and it releases energy. And that is the energy we use to perform any task. And then that is how it goes. Basically, it's a complicated process, but I'm just telling you in a very simplistic format. Now, energy conversion process. There are primarily two forms in which energy get transferred inside our body. Right. So one is basically it goes from glucose all the way to fat. If our body, the food that we eat, our body extracts glucose from it. And then if that glucose get utilized, it's good. If not, then eventually it get converted into fat and get stored as a fuel reserve. Right. And this happens a lot nowadays, especially in us. When we are not doing, we are basically leading sedentary lifestyle. That's when it happens a lot. But when you are taking whatever energy our body needs, if you are taking less energy than that, then our body taps into that fuel reserve and then converts fat into glucose and then function. That is how it goes. But this happens, you have to make our body work that way. Okay. And we have so we have seen all about the energy and everything. And we have also heard about eating balanced diet and nutritious diet. So let's dig into this nutrients, right? What these nutrients are, which all nutrients our body needs and all. So looking from the main classification standpoint, based on the quantity of the nutrients, it is classified as macronutrients and micronutrients, right? So the nutrients that our body needs in larger quantity, say in grams, that comes under macronutrients, and these are protein, fat, and carb. Okay. And these are the only three nutrients that provides energy or the calorie. The rest of the nutrients we need to perform all the other reaction in our body. And those are micronutrients. And vitamins and minerals comes under micronutrients. And then we have inorganic nutrients, which is water and oxygen. Minerals also comes under inorganic nutrients. That means vitamins are organic nutrients, organic compounds. Okay. So looking at the macronutrients, as we saw, protein, carbohydrate, and fats, these are the three macronutrients, and these are the three nutrients that provides energy. And basically, it get involved in a lot of different functions, like all the fat and protein has a lot of various functions inside the body. Like fat, we need to transport vitamins, absorb vitamins, and protein we need for the essentially the for everything, right, inside the body. So basically, that being said, out of these three macronutrients, protein and fat are essential macronutrients. That means we cannot survive without sufficient protein and fat. Carbohydrates are considered as semi-essential or non-essential nutrients, which means if we don't eat carb, we can survive without it. Okay. So looking at the carb, this is the primary source of fuel for our body. Why? Because this is the preferred one, because our body can easily metabolize it and extract energy out of it, right? So that is why if we provide carb, it can quickly get the energy out of it. So how much energy we are talking about? Basically, per gram of carb, it provides 4 kilocalorie of energy. Okay, and from the chemical standpoint, it is classified as simple carbohydrate and complex carbohydrate. Simple carbohydrate are monosaccharides and disaccharides, meaning single and double sugar molecules. If there are more than 2 sugar molecules, it is called complex carbohydrate. Simple carbohydrate get absorbed or get metabolized very, very quickly inside our body, and complex carbohydrate takes time to get metabolized. Okay, and how it basically matters, we will see it all throughout this presentation. Now, second macronutrient is proteins, also amino acids. So basically, it is a collection of 20 amino acids. Out of that, 9 amino acids are essential amino acids, meaning our body cannot make them, and we have to provide it via our food. Okay. So protein act as a building block, as we have discussed. It's a structural component. It basically act in lot of reactions. It's very crucial for our nourishment, renewal, and continuation of our life. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now the question is, how much protein do we need? So here is the answer. So as per National Institute of Health, recommended daily allowance for a generally healthy population is 0.8 to 1.2 gram of per kg of body weight of protein. That is what we need. For example, if somebody is of say 80 kg weight, then they will need somewhat around 64 gram to 96 gram of protein. So as long as they are eating anywhere between 64 to 96 gram of protein every day, they are in good shape, right? But there are certain population that needs higher protein, and those are like growing children, adolescents, women who are pregnant, lactating women, and athletes and strength trainees. Since primarily the Indian food is vegetarian food, so I have listed here some good source of protein. And here I have used good source, meaning type of food that has all the missing or all the 9 essential amino acids. And in the picture on the right, you will see all these vegetarian good source of protein here as well. And here, basically, back in one of the study conducted by National Institute of Nutrition in 2018, they found that 73% of Indians are deficient in protein, and more than 90% of people are unaware of daily protein requirements, right? So, which is pretty huge. That is primarily because the main source of protein that we think, and we usually, as an Indian, we eat is pulses, which is dal, right? But dal, as probably you might not know, that it's not a good source of protein, meaning it provides protein, but it doesn't provide all the essential 9 amino acids, right? So, and also, it is very high in the carbohydrate content, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, the third macronutrient is fatty acids, or the fats, right? So one thing always remember, fat is the only reason we are alive. So please don't hate fat. And primary reason is basically it dissolves vitamins. We will see throughout that we have, out of vitamins and minerals, there are certain vitamins that cannot get absorbed inside our body without fat. Okay. Also, it provides the protective barriers for cells. It provides insulation and paddings to all the organs, right? And last but not least, it provides taste and texture to the food that we eat. But that is being said, it is the most energy dense out of all three macronutrients. It provides 9 kilocalorie per gram of fat. Okay. So looking at the type of fat, so from chemical viewpoint, if you look at the chemical structure, from that perspective, it is classified as saturated fat and unsaturated fat. So saturated fat is the one that where all the carbon atoms are fully saturated with hydrogen. As you can see on the picture on the top right side, that all the carbon, there is no double bond between any of the two carbon atoms, right? So that means it is fully saturated with hydrogen atoms. And the characteristics is their boiling point is higher than room temperature. So usually they are solid at room temperature, solid state. Okay. Coming to unsaturated fat, if there is at least one double bond between two carbon atom, then it becomes unsaturated fatty acids. And their boiling points become lower than room temperature, and they are found as liquid at room temperature. Okay. Also, you may have heard about omega-3, omega-6, omega-9 fatty acids. What are they? So basically, if you have a double bond on the third carbon atom from the tail end, like as shown in this picture. So if you look from the right side, there's a double bond on the third carbon atom, then it is called omega-3 fatty acid. If the double bond is on the sixth carbon atom from the tail end, it is called omega-6 fatty acids. And out of these three omega fatty acids, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are essential fatty acids. Omega-9 is semi-essential, meaning in certain condition, our body can make it. So you don't need to provide it. Okay. Also, we have from chemical structure standpoint, we have trans fat. So when we take unsaturated fatty acid and introduce hydrogen, break that double bond between two carbon atom, introduce hydrogen by the process of hydrogenation, and make it saturated fatty acid, then it is called trans fatty acid. And from studies, it is found that trans fatty acid is responsible for a rise in bad cholesterol, which is LDL, and leads to cardiovascular diseases. So it is recommended to totally avoid trans fatty acids. So far we have seen macronutrients. Let's jump into micronutrients. So these are the ones that we need in small quantity or a micro quantity, and they are classified as vitamins, which are organic compound, and minerals, which are inorganic compound. Vitamins, there are 13 vitamins that human needs out of A, B complex, C, D, E, and K. Out of these vitamins, A, D, E, and K are fat soluble. Vitamin B complex and C are water soluble. So fat soluble meaning we need to provide, as we have discussed before, that we need to provide enough fat for these vitamins to get absorbed inside our body. Okay. Their deficiency is rare, but if you take it in high quantity, then it can lead to toxicity. So be mindful about that. Water soluble vitamins are, as we said, B complex and C. Their deficiency is common because these are water soluble. So chances of deficiency is higher because our body can excrete it through urination. Okay, so be mindful about that as well. Out of all these vitamins, 13 vitamins, there are certain which are conditionally essential, right? Meaning if all the necessary conditions are given to the body, then it can make it, like vitamin B12 and K, they can be produced by bacteria in our large intestine. And vitamin D is synthesized in the skin when it is exposed to UV light, right? So that's why these three vitamins are considered as conditionally essential. Okay, chances. So if we are eating all the a balanced diet, and we will look into the balanced diet later on, but if we are eating enough colorful vegetable and fruits, then chances of deficiency of these vitamins are very low, right? But if you see any sign of deficiency, then please go get checked by a physician. And if it is recommended, then feel free to take over-the-counter medication, over-the-counter multivitamins. Chances of getting toxicity taking over-the-counter multivitamin is low, very low, if taken in moderation. Primary reason for that is their serum level are pretty low, right? So if you take it in moderation, then chances of toxicity might not be there. So looking at the fat-soluble vitamins here, I'm not going to go through the entire slide, but I've just given you an idea here that there are recommended daily allowance for all these vitamins. They're basically just what they are responsible for, what are the good sources, and what deficiency can lead to, Like for example, vitamin A is responsible for growth and vision, and if there is any deficiency of vitamin A, it will lead to impaired vision. And the good sources for vitamin A are carrots, sweet potato, spinach, meat, and fish, and so on. We will provide this slide to everybody. So if you want to take a look at later on, you can feel free, you can do that. Coming to the water soluble vitamins, we have seen vitamin B complex and vitamin C are water soluble. I have not given the RDA here, which means the recommended daily allowance. You can get it from any reliable source over the internet. And I have listed their primary, some of their primary functions here. Coming back to minerals, all the minerals, since these are inorganic compound, so our body cannot make it. So all these minerals that I have listed here are essential, considered essential. Okay, they are again classified into bulk and trace based on their quantity. If we need more than 150 milligram per day, it is considered as bulk minerals, and if we need it less than that, then less than 150 milligram per day, then it is called micro or trace minerals. And I have listed all the names here. Now, so basically, we have seen that we have seen so many different nutrients that our body needs, right? All the vitamins, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals. So and there are these recommended daily allowance for all these nutrients. So it's very difficult to keep track of all these nutrients, how we are eating it, how much we are eating, are we eating it enough or not. So keeping that in mind, World Health Organization came up with a pictorial notation, and that is what I'm going to discuss next. So the picture on the right that you see is the picture of the plate, that your plate that it should look like in every meal, right? So if you make sure that your plate looks like this, then chances of getting deficient in any of the nutrient will be quite low. That's what their intent is behind this. So the plate, you can see half of the plate should be vegetable and fruit. Go for all the colorful vegetables and fruits, because all the different nutrients provide different colors to your food. And then it's given 1/4 should be your healthy protein. Healthy protein meaning please avoid red meat. The reason for that is it is high in saturated fat, and there's a limit that you can for the saturated fat that we should eat. Then go for whole grains. It's written why whole grains, because whole grains will provide you fiber, and whole grains are typically complex carbohydrates. So our body takes time to metabolize it. Then for fat, go for unsaturated fat, because we need omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid. These are essential fatty acid that our body needs. So that is why it's written that go for unsaturated fatty acid, or not try to limit your saturated fat and avoid trans fat. And also water, drink plenty of water. I have a slide later on that explains why we need to drink water and how much do we need to drink water every day. So for fat, it is recommended that the total fat intake should be 30% of your total energy intake, right? And we will touch on it a little later as well, and we'll go in a little bit detail. And saturated fat intake should be less than 10% of your total energy intake. And try to eat at least 400 grams of vegetables and fruits in a day. If you do that, then you will be basically getting a balanced diet. Also, USDA also came up with a pictorial representation of balanced diet. They call it food pyramid. So the idea here is to consume the food which is at the bottom of this pyramid the most, so that the serving should be the highest of the food that is in the bottom. So you can see that the fruit, vegetable and fruit comes at the bottom, and then followed by whole grains, and then protein, fat, and so on. I like this picture as well for balanced diet. You can see that 1/3. So what, as per this picture on the right, the 1/3 of the plate. This is again, this is how your plate should look like every meal. So 1/3 should be the vegetable and fruit. Then 1/3 should be grain, and rest would be your protein and fat. So now we have seen that all these basically food provide different type of, all the micronutrients provide different type of different energy, different calories, right? So now question is, how can you calculate or how can you find it out that how much energy any food is providing? So for packaged food in United States, by law, every packaged food should have a nutrition fact similar to the one that you see here on the right? And now the question is how to read this. So basically, this nutrition fact table that you see here, all these nutrition is contained in the serving size. So up top, you see the serving size. So that is what we are talking about. So look at the serving size. So in that serving size, what second thing comes is the calorie. So how much calorie is there, right? We have learned that only fat, carb, and protein provides energy, which is calorie. And down below at the center of the slide, you will see you can see that I have written 1 gram of fat, how much different type of energy, how much energy you will get from 1 gram of fat, protein, and carb. So let's look at this picture. It says that this nutrition fact, it says that total fat is 8 gram. So 8 times 9 would be 72 calories. So fat will be providing 72 calorie. If you add carbohydrate, which is 37 gram, to protein, which is 3 gram, then it becomes 40 grams. And carb and protein provides 4 calories. So just multiply it with 4, it will be 160 calorie. Adding up 160 plus 72, it will be 232 calorie. So probably they have rounded it off, but now you are pretty close, right? So now it is providing 230 calorie in this serving. So you look at the calorie and then you look at fat. So you will see how much saturated fat is coming, then how much trans fat is coming in this serving, and then cholesterol, sodium, and then carb. Carb, they will provide you sugar, right? How much total sugar is in there and how much added sugar is there, right? And then protein. So these are the macronutrients, and then after that they will provide. You will see all the micronutrients in there. Okay. So now, so far we have seen all the food, how much nutrients we need, basically what are the different nutrients, how much nutrients we need, how we can identify it in a packaged food. But what if the food that you are eating, it's coming directly from your farmer's market? You don't know anything about the nutrition level for that, right? So how you will figure it out is basically we have, I have listed the website here down below, nutritionvalue.org. If you go there, if you type in your food, then what it does, it will it shows you the nutrition fact in the form exactly that you see here on the right on the slide, so that you will know that what it contains, what that food is, what that food or that specific food item contains. Okay, so feel free to use. This is a free resource, and their database is pretty good. So now we know how much basically what are the different nutrients, which nutrient provide energy. And if we eat less energy than our body needs, then we will lose fat, right? And if we eat more energy than our body needs, then we gain weight, right? So now the question is, how can we figure out that how much energy our body needs every day? So let's discuss that first. So let's start with the total daily energy expenditure, right? If we know total daily energy expenditure of our body, then we will know that if we need to gain weight, then we need to eat more than that energy. And if we need to lose weight, then we will need to eat less than TDEE, right? So TDEE, what is it? Basically, TDEE contains basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate is basically, consider when suppose you are lying on the bed, you are not doing anything all throughout the day. Still you need some energy for your body to function, right? To get all the organs going. So that energy is called basal metabolic rate. Then comes thermic effect of food. The food that we eat, to metabolize that, our body need to spend some energy, and that is called thermic effect of food. Then comes non-exercise activity, thermogenesis. As name explains, whatever activity you are doing that is not related to your any exercise, then it comes under NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And then comes exercise activity thermogenesis. So your exercise, whatever energy you spend doing any exercise, that goes in here. So if you sum all these 4 different type of energy, then you get your total daily energy expenditure, TDEE. Okay. So out of all these 4 different types of energy expenditure, thermic effect of food, NEAT, and EAT, we cannot calculate, right? Pretty simple, straightforward. But what we can estimate is BMR, which is basal metabolic rate. There are a lot of online calculator out there. You can use it. I mean, what it will need is your weight, your height, and your age, right? But if you want to calculate it by yourself, then I have given the formula. All the online calculator, they use the same formula. It's called Harris-Benedict equation. Okay, so for women, you can see that for women and men, we have different formula. But what it needs is your weight in kilogram, your height in centimeter, and your age in years. Okay, if you plug that in, you will get your BMR. But we cannot calculate the other three form of energy expenditure. So what we do is basically we use the multiplication factor there. So the table here on the right, based on your how active you are, you can use that that multiplication factor and multiply that BMR with that factor, and that will give you TDEE. Pretty straightforward. So that will be your good starting point. That remember that this is an estimate. This is not the exact amount of energy. This is just an estimate. Okay, so you need to have some starting point. So you can start from here. Now, setting up the diet plan. Once you know TDEE, okay, then based on what is your goal, you can now start manipulating your TDEE or start basically playing around with your TDEE. So the thing is, if you want to maintain your current weight, then that's it. You just eat your the calorie that you calculated as your total daily energy expenditure. If you want to lose weight, then you have to eat less than your TDEE. But meaning you need to be in calorie deficit. And if you want to gain muscle or gain weight, then you need to eat more than TDEE, or you need to go in calorie surplus. Okay. Now we know that how much energy we need to eat. Now how are you going to set up your macronutrients? So as we have seen that only fat, carb and protein, these are the three macronutrients that provide the energy. So we need to break this total energy expenditure into these three different macronutrients. So protein, as we have seen, recommended daily allowance is 0.8 to 1.2 gram per kg of body weight. So you pick any multiplication factor between 0.8 to 1.2 based on your comfortability. Okay, and the food habit. Fat RDA is 20 to 35% of total calorie. Okay, so I usually go for 25 to 30, but RDA is 20 to 35. It's up to you. As long as you are between 25 to 30% of total energy of the fat, then you are in a safer side. And whatever rest is left, you just put it as carb. Okay, I have given a hypothetical scenario on the right just to explain these things. So suppose there is a person whose body weight is 85 kg. His TDE came out to be 2300 kilocalorie. If he wants to lose weight, then he decided to go in deficit of 300 calorie. So meaning now total energy intake every day should be 2000 to 2300 minus 300. So it will become 2000. Now we will set protein. He chooses to go for 0.8 times. So 0.8 times 85 is 68 gram. So protein is 68 gram. Energy that will come from protein, 68 gram of protein is times 4, which is 272 calorie. Next comes fat. He decided to go for 25% of total energy. So 25% of total energy is 500 kilocalorie, which is when you divide it by 9, then it comes out to be 55.6 gram. Then rest is carb. So you subtract from 2000, you subtract 272 and 500. It comes out to be 1228. When you divide it by 4, it comes out to be 307 gram. There you go. Your diet plan is set. Every day, this person need to eat 68 gram of protein, 55.6 gram of carb, and 307 gram of 55.6 gram of fat and 307 gram of carb. And then he or she can divide it or decide which food he or she wants to take, so that at the end of the day, before that person goes to bed, everything sums up to this: protein, fat, carb, and total energy. On this slide, I have given you a basically example vegetarian diet chart that I basically made for one of my friend. So his idea was basically to lose fat. He was at 1750 kilocalorie. His macros was fat was 36 gram, protein was 80 gram, and carb was 277 gram. Okay, so I'm not going to go in detail about this diet chart, but this is the whole food for one day for him. Okay, you can see that we have set fat, protein, and carb here, but it may go a little bit up and down. Okay, but eventually the total calorie should be within 10 to 20 calorie, plus minus 10 to 20 calorie. Okay. The important thing here is all the food you need to measure in raw. For example, wheat flour or potato, right? Because for example, if I make chapati out of wheat flour, and if I weigh my chapati, that may be heavier or lighter than what somebody else is going to make chapati out of the same wheat flour. It all based on how much water you are adding, right? That is why we need to measure everything in raw. So what should be the strategy? We start with logging the food in raw. We first calculated all the nutrients that we need to eat, all the macronutrients. Then you start logging food in raw. There are a lot of good apps out there. I have personally used these two apps, MyFitnessPal and MyNetDiary. These are very good apps. You can use it. So the idea is whatever you are eating, you just start logging it there in this app, and these apps will start collecting all the macro and micronutrients and will display it as you progress through the day. Okay. Also, the same website, nutritionvalue.org, you can create a free login there, and then start logging there as well if you like. Now, how you basically follow this whole strategy is, once you decide your TDEE, you decide to go how much calorie you want to eat and what is the distribution of macronutrients. After that, once you start doing it, you start logging your body weight every day. Okay. Doesn't matter if you want to lose weight or gain weight, you need to follow this strategy. You need to log your food in raw. You need to log your daily body weight and weekly body measurement. I'm saying it weekly because it doesn't impact your body measurement very quickly. You may see some changes over the period of 1 week, but not every day. That is why we do weekly body measurements. Okay. Also, that's another note here is, suppose people think that if they are on dieting plan, they should avoid social gatherings, should not go out for eating. It is not like that. Basically, what really matters is weekly average calorie, right? So how you do that is, suppose if you know that you are going to go out on Saturday for dinner outside. Okay, so what you do is, you know that there you are going to eat a little bit more there. So how you do it, basically, suppose if you are taking 2000 calorie every day, then you start cutting 100 calorie right there. So from Monday to Saturday, by the time you get to Saturday, you will have 100 calorie left over from every day. So by Saturday, you will have cushion of 600 calorie. So that you can spend when you go out to eat. That is why I have written here that weekly average calorie is what that matters. Okay. Also, people make mistake by logging the calorie burnt during exercise. Please don't do that. The reason for that is, TDEE, we have used the multiplication factor there, right, to BMR. And that multiplication factor includes your activity level. And if you log your calorie burned during exercise, then you will end up eating more. Okay. And then if you want to be on fat loss journey, then eventually you end up gaining weight. Okay. So how you proceed is, basically you calculate your TDEE, you start doing it, you keep track of your body measurement for 2 weeks. And if your body measurement is, if you are on fat loss journey, then, and if you see that after 2 weeks your body measurement is increasing, that means the estimated TDEE is on the higher side. So you have to another knock down it by 150 or 200 calorie. Okay. And so on. But always remember that never go below your basal metabolic rate. The reason for that is, if you try to go or consume calorie less than your BMR, then your body is very smart. Our body is very smart. So what it does is, it starts shutting down all the secondary metabolic activity, like nail growth, hair growth, keeping our skin moist, things like that. And if you don't believe me, try going below that, and you will see that your nail growth has stopped. Your hair is not, well, I don't have hair, but your hair growth has stopped. Your skin is becoming dry, right? So that is a sign that your body is shutting down your secondary metabolic activity. Okay. Now, the role of water. So we have seen that we need to drink plenty of water. Why do we need to drink plenty of water? We all know that kidney and liver are two organs that cleans up our blood waste, right? Kidney primarily, so first kidney cleans it up, cleans our all the blood waste, and then whatever is left over, our liver cleans it up. But the thing is, our brain also need energy to function, right? So the cell in our body, that they get energy from the sugar that we eat, or the glucose that is being transported by insulin. But the for our brain to function properly, our liver has to provide energy, right? But and if you are not drinking plenty of water, why do we need plenty of water? The reason for that is our kidney works on the process of osmosis, right? That means kidney needs to be more wetter than blood to extract the waste from our blood. Okay. And if we don't provide it enough water, then it is not going to function well. So all the work will be left over onto our liver. So rather than providing energy to our brain, liver will get engaged into cleaning that blood waste. So that will end up for us getting the disease spells and all. And that's when we know that our body got dehydrated. The reason for that is our brain is not getting enough energy to work, and our liver is engaged in cleaning our blood waste. Okay, so how much water do we need? So for men, it is 3.7 liters per day, and for women, it is 2.7 liters per day. And it may go higher based on your activity level, the weather condition you are living in, or your physical condition. Okay, but at least try to drink 3.7 liters for men and 2.7 liters for women. Next comes fiber. Fiber is most essential nutrients for our body. It helps in protein digestion. Okay, it helps in reducing our cardiovascular disease. It, of course, overcomes constipation. Okay, so and also the satiety level of fiber is higher, meaning it keeps you stay full for a longer period of time. Right. So if you are on weight loss or fat loss journey, then fiber helps a lot. So try to eat more green vegetable. On picture on the right, I have shown all the good sources of fiber. Now let's look into common diet myths. So these are the myths. Please don't follow these myths. We have heard about like this phrase: breakfast like king, dinner like beggar. No, it doesn't matter. Eat whatever you can, whatever you want, but make sure that you are inside your whatever your goal is based on your total daily energy requirement. And it doesn't matter how you are distributing it throughout the day. Okay. By the end of the day, how much you ate, that is what it matters. Some people, I know some people that who are completely avoiding grains. There is no point in avoiding grain. Why are you avoiding grains? Right? Unless you have any physical condition. You should not avoid any grain. Grains are good, very good source of fiber and very good source of carbohydrate and protein as well. Okay. Detox diet. Please don't spend money in detox diet. These are all bad things because our body is very much capable of detoxing all the toxins out. Okay. And fat burners, please don't go for that because it will end up creating your bad food relationship. The thing is, it basically directly impacts our hormones. Okay, and then it will end up making you hate food, which we don't want because we eat food to provide nutrients to our body so that all the reaction should happen properly inside our body. If we don't eat food and don't provide proper nutrients, then we will end up getting sick because all those necessary reactions are not happening. That brings to good and bad food. There is no such thing as good or bad food. We have only food choices. Okay. Say for example, if somebody is on fat loss journey, then samosa, which is a calorie dense food, right? If you deep fry it, then it becomes calorie dense. Then they don't want to eat samosa. They should not eat samosa. The reason for that is it is calorie dense. You will eat samosa, it won't keep you full for longer time. You will again feel hungry very quickly, right? But think about the other person who is on a weight gain journey, right? And if they can't eat too much, then they go for a food, calorie dense food, right? So that is why it's all food choices. How you eat it, that's what it matters. Okay. And talking about the crash, don't go for any crash diet, please, because you end up creating bad food relationship. Okay. So and also go for something that you can sustain throughout your life. right? And that is why I have explained that how food works, what are the nutrients and which nutrient provides energy, so that you can make the right choice and then create something, some dieting strategy that can help you use it for all throughout your life. Okay. Processed food can be taken in moderation. Also, it depends on your goal. If you are on weight gain journey still, and if you want to take more food, more calorie in less food, then you can go for processed food. But it removes a lot of nutrients, it adds a lot of fats and chemicals. It's low in fiber, so that's why we need to limit the consumption of processed food. So the takeaway, overall takeaway, we have seen that calorie plays everything in terms of weight gain and weight loss. So if you consume less calorie than your total daily energy requirement, then you will lose weight. If you eat more calorie than your TDEE, then you will gain weight. Always log food in raw, so that you should know that how much you are eating, right? How much calorie you are eating. If you are on any weight loss or weight gain journey, please track your daily body weight and weekly body measurements. Drink proper amount of water. I have listed how much water you need to drink, and you can increase it based on your current condition as well. Sleep is another most important part of I would say pillar of this healthy lifestyle, because sleep is the time when our body tries to heal from all the insult that it has sustained all throughout the day. Okay, and at least we need to have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day. I have listed here 10,000 steps per day minimum, but that is being said, the idea here is basically to stay active all throughout the day. In one of the study back in 2015, people found out that sedentary life is more injurious to human body than smoking. Okay, so now you know that how bad is sedentary lifestyle is. So whole idea is basically to stay active, meaning try not to sit for more than 20 minutes at a time. After 20 minutes, take a break, take a walk, go drink some water, or go take a small short walk or something, or do something. I've listed strength training, which is another major pillar to lead a healthy lifestyle. But I don't think we have enough time this session, but maybe in future session, if there is more interest, I can touch that as well. Okay, here I have listed few good resources to go over. If you are more interested to know more about nutrition, then these top four are very good resources for that. Also, I have listed one of the challenge that is currently going on. It's a collaboration between NPR and Columbia University Medical Center. It's open for everybody. It's free. If you like, please check it out. If you like, please join. It will help. And I will end this presentation with the quote from great Mahatma Gandhi: "Your health is your wealth." So please take care of it. Thank you.
So thank you, Gajendra. This was extremely helpful, and I'm definitely going to watch it again and take notes. And for everyone, definitely this is something that he has given. It's a very introductory, talk. There are a lot of things can be done, and please make sure that you have your own, talk to your own doctor before embarking on something very drastic. This and definitely this quote, after paying for insurance costs here in the US, you would definitely believe in health is wealth. So I totally agree with this. So with that, let's hand it over to Archit, who is monitoring the questions. And he will take questions from the spreadsheet first and then the chat. And then if we have time, we can take a couple of more questions from live audience. Take away, Archit.
Thank you so much, Rahul sir. Oh, once again, thank you, Gajendra sir. It was very, very informative. I come from biomedical engineering, and still it was a lot of it was like not known to me. So it was very, very informative. Because we have limited time, I'll jump right away into questions. Sabir sir from 1997 Mining has asked that what is the portion on the plate of carbs versus protein? If you could like throw some light on that, that would be great.
Oh, that's a very good question. Basically, as I said, I mean, it doesn't matter. I have shown three balanced diet pictures, and I'm going back to that. So these are all qualitative representation, right? So how much you are eating, it all depends on what is your goal, right? And we have seen how you can calculate that, what is your daily protein requirement, what is your daily fat requirement. So if you want to eat everything in one go, it's up to you. If you want to distribute it, these macronutrients all throughout the day, I mean, whatever you are comfortable with, that is what I have figured it out. And you don't need to be confined to condition that I want to have just one meal at a time, or I want to have, like, say, 68 gram of protein, whatever. So I'm just throwing a number. If your requirement is 68 gram of protein per day, then if you like to eat it 68 gram of protein in one go, please go ahead. But whole idea there is, if you distribute it, then it will be good. Body can extract amino acid efficiently. So what I usually do is I distribute protein in 3 meals. So suppose if I'm eating, say, 60 gram of protein a day, or 100 gram of protein, or 126, suppose 120 gram of protein a day, then I distribute it so that I get 40 gram in my breakfast, 40 grams in lunch, and 40 grams in dinner.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Abhilash Srivastav, who is currently doing PhD, he is asking that is creatine safe to use? He is a regular gym user and wants to know if creatine is a good source, and is it safe to use?
First, we need to understand why we need creatine, right? So as I was saying right here, adenosine triphosphate, the energy currency for our body, right? So what it does is, where is it? Yeah, right there. So what it does is basically, so to perform any task, we need energy, right? And our body, it breaks one phosphate bond from triphosphate, and then it gets that energy and make it into adenosine diphosphate, right? It is believed that, I'm saying believed because it is not proven, and I'll quote one more recent paper on that as well. So it is believed that if you are taking creatine, so creatine provides free phosphate group, right, inside the body. So whenever you are working out, so your ATP is get converted into ADP. So ADP will have enough free phosphate group roaming around, so they will quickly get attached to to that free available phosphate and make ATP, right? So that we will have more energy. That is being said. In a recent study, one research group, they did a meta-analysis. So meta-analysis, basically when you conduct an study or experiment on a group of people. So what they did was they took two group of people. To one group, they didn't tell which group they are doing what, but to one group they provided creatine, and to one group they provided placebo, meaning they didn't provide creatine, they provided something else, okay, something else which was not creatine. And they found that both group did or gained weight in the same way, and their performance was more or less similar. There was no distinction. So it's up to you. If you want to take creatine, feel free to take it. It's not unhealthy. Let me put it that way.
Okay. So and the next question is, Arun Mishra sir is asking, what's the best source of vitamin D for Indians present in the US and who are vegetarians?
For vitamin D, we get milk, fortified milk, right? And fortified milk is there, and then soya products. I have given here some list. Soya products, and dairy. These are the two good source of protein. Vegetarian protein, basically.
Then when you say, what is that type of milk? What you are referring to?
So,
is it the pasteurized or
of milk? All the milk that we get here in US, it's fortified with vitamin D. So you will see vitamin D is listed there. So dairy product and soy product. Soy product meaning soya bean, tofu, those kind of stuff.
But what I was reading, and I'm not sure if it is right, that some of the soy product also has like estrogen, which is not great for men's if done in excess quantity.
Well,
so
I mean,
your input will be great on that.
Yes, that's a good point. Send me that link. I'll check it out, because there are a lot of things that people just quote it. So whatever research I have read so far, there is nothing like that I have seen anywhere for the soy products. In fact, it's a very good source of protein for vegetarians. Okay, so I have never
Gajendra,
about
And
estrogen.
always there are two sides of a coin, so it depends on how you balance
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that is why I want to see that that link or the research
Yeah,
or the study that they have done. That they actually done some meta-analysis, or it's their thought that they are going to do
I
something on
think
that.
what I said is if moderation is what I think the keyword there.
exactly.
Yeah,
But if you overdo it, I think it definitely impacts your hormonal balance.
Yep. Ati sarvatra varjayate, our
yeah,
Sanskrit.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's true.
Shambhavi ma'am has asked how much protein is considered sufficient for a growing preteen age kid.
So, growing preteen, basically, their body is growing, right? So they need definitely more than, I need to check it out how much adolescent, what is the recommended daily allowance, but it is definitely more than what we as an adult we need, which is more than 1.2 times of their body weight. Definitely they need more than that, but I'll get to you, Shambhavi, how much actually they need.
I see.
You
And
can
the
post
last,
on the USS site. That way, others also maybe.
Yeah, so I have listed here. So if you go on these these additional resources,
Yeah,
so CDC, all these websites, they have it. So yeah, check it out.
yeah.
I don't remember on the top of my head. Sorry
Mm.
about that.
and because we have just 1 minute, and the last question for the day is how to identify if there is any specific vitamin D, vitamin deficiency. Could it be vitamin D, vitamin C? Is it like you should go and have regular checks?
Definitely. So for vitamins, I should have done that. But you see, for minerals, I have listed here the deficiency. Right. So we'll make these slides available for everybody.
Mhm.
So maybe I'll add for vitamins as well, the deficiency. And at least for A, D, E, and K, I have listed it here. So if you see any sign of, where is it? Yeah, right here. Yeah. So if you see any sign out of these A, D, E, K, and those minerals, then definitely you should go get checked.
I see. I think, sir, that is it for today, and we are just on time.
So, again, if you can take one question, I would want to ask that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think so. Now I have a not free version of Google Meet, so we can probably go a little bit further. And I think we can have after Arun, we can have maybe one or two more questions from live audience.
Arun, sir, I'm coming to Atlanta next weekend as well.
Please come home.
So we can
Me
have
too
a
for
chat
dinner.
on chai.
We can have a dinner, we can have a talk. But I think that 7 p.m. thing, I wanted to ask that generally it's not 7 p.m., but say when you go to bed, you don't eat like 3-4 hours before that. It's usually unhealthy. Body takes time to digest, and you don't want to sleep with loads of food in your stomach, etc. Right? So that 7 p.m. myth, I want you to explain a little bit more. That is there any caveat to that, right? Like
No,
giving a gap, and
the
why
thing,
7 p.m. is what everybody says, including Ayurveda, that if it's sundown, then usually don't try to eat a heavy meal.
yeah, no, that's a good point. The thing is, there are so many things about that, right? It's like in the old age, people used to avoid eating after sundown because of the unavailability of good light source so that they can see what they are eating, right? So that is one thing. After 7 p.m., the thing is there are few things going on right now where people say that okay, we will be in fasted state for a certain period of time, and 7 p.m. is not exactly the time. I mean, I listed it there, just a number there, but that means that don't eat after certain time. So, as per the body growth and body function, that's what I wanted to touch. That if you are thinking that from the perspective of say staying healthy or losing weight, then it doesn't matter. It's a myth from that perspective. But if you have say due to some holy reason or some other reason, if you want to do that, then that is your choice. But it usually it doesn't impact our body in any way unless you
Okay,
have any health condition.
okay, great. Majid sir.
So you are on mute.
Gajen, can you hear me now?
Yes, Madhu sir, I can hear you now.
It was fantastic effort, fantastic. Now there is another request from you in the future. This was very general overall, but I would like you next time to really on a certain subject like a diabetes or cardiovascular or all these mind something very focused disease that we expect going forward in our life. If you can, I know it's a big tall order, but I think if you can do, because you did fantastic job to giving at least introductory. So now we are really aware of so many things, and usually never paid attention to nutrition chart and all that. Now I think I'll be really going and looking into this. So if you can please find out the time to do something specific, which we are suffering, mostly Indian societies, diabetes and all those things. If you can do that, I really appreciate it. Okay.
Absolutely, Madhu sir. Something or maybe on diabetes and thyroids and those basic things. Like,
cardiovascular. Yeah. Please.
absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Rama Kandalas mentioned that exposing to sun for 20 minutes is also good for vitamin D. So I thank you, Rama.
Absolutely. Yep. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So what happens is I spend part of my life in East Coast, and you go to your pharmacy, your vitamin Ds are out of shelf. It's all because of the exposure to sun is very limited. Some parts of the East Coast. So it's more important. He mentioned about 10,000 steps. Don't take part of the 10,000 steps outside in the sun. That will give you. Just 20 minutes is not that much.
Okay.
Start thinking that way.
Good point, Rama sir. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is why I have listed here as like on this slide that these vitamin D is conditionally essential. If we are exposing our skin to sun sufficiently, then we don't need to eat it. Basically provide our body this vitamin D through our food.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think nothing replaces that, right?
Also, Gajen, I was recommended by my primary doctor to take a supplement over-the-counter vitamins. So what do you think about these? There's no myth about those.
Yeah, you can take that. I mean, so I have listed here that on this slide that you can take multivitamin but if you are taking it in moderation, right? I mean, if you are going to take whole a lot, then you might end up getting toxicity. But if you're taking it in moderation, then you won't get toxicity of it at all.
So Gajendra, I think one of the best practice that I do is I don't take it every day. I take like 3 days a week, right? So that body is also trying to make or create or fulfill from other sources and not get used to this. So I just give a gap of every other day is what I do.
Good point, Arun sir.
Anybody else wants to say before we wrap up? So I think this comes to the end of this. We are creating a website. I'm working with Archit on that. We already have an account for NITRUS Talks, and I'm creating a Google site where we'll be posting the recording as well as the slides. And this will continue. We have some more talks lined up, immigration, taxation, heart health, and further. And also, if anybody would like to come, like Gajendra, best to hear from our own people. So please ping me directly, and then we can organize. We have a core team, Shambhavi, Majid sir, Archit. We are, NITRUS core team. You can ping anybody, and we will then follow up and arrange for talks. And it's not that every month, we can have frequently also. But right now, I have this cadence of 1 month. So we have one lined up.
I have one suggestion.
Hi, Arun. Yeah.
With tax season coming up, anything on taxes will be useful. I mean, it's not only this year, but ongoing.
Yeah.
And people get to share their experience and maybe finding good consultant and some best practice and right.
Yeah. We have a Subhash Sindwani sir who actually is a practicing tax consultant. So I had pinged him long ago, and after that I was not able to follow up. So he just pinged me today saying, "Hey, how about that talk?" So after this talk, I'm going to talk to him and see if we can arrange for something maybe mid-February or March. And yeah, that will be a very good.
So that we can plan something.
I'm sorry.
Sooner the better, I would say, because
yeah, no, totally. It depends on his availability. And
yeah, absolutely.
okay, I'm stopping the recording.